featuring the NASCAR Winston Racing Series from Jennerstown Speedway has been brought.
Hello everybody, Mike Nelson along with Steve Richard, and welcome to this week's program. On today's show, you'll see the WKQS KISS FM presentation of Pizza Hut Night with our NASCAR Winston Racing Series action that took place on Saturday evening, July 11th. We'll have feature race highlights of the Giant Auto Parts Pure Later Late models, AC Delca Pro stocks, Valvoline Street stocks, and Steel Pure stocks. And Steve, you know, going into this evening's activities, there's one gentleman who continues leading the NASCAR Winston Racing Series Northeast region. That's Sergeant Charlie Cragen. But certainly in tonight's activities, he won't want to have a performance like he had last week.
Well, that's part of the problem, Mike. He didn't have a performance last week. We ran twin 35s here. Sergeant Charlie had motor problems, had to sit them both out. Going into this weekend's racing, he was leading Glenn Galt by only 4 points in the Northeast region. Glenn Galt won both those twin 35s last week, but at the previous night's racing, Sergeant Charlie did pull out a win at Motordrome. So tonight, Glenn Galt, Charlie Cragen, it's going to be interesting.
Not only them, but a bunch of other top shoes in the Giant Auto Parts Pure Later Late models will be out there vying for Winston Racing Series and track points. We'll be watching those battles and many others right after these messages.
Pizza Hut introduces New York deli and Philly cheesesteak pizzas. What do the experts say?
The potpourri of deli taste is quite assertive.
A tour de force of beef and cheese.
A smorgasbord of innuendo. There's an undercurrent of whimsy here. Goosebumps.
Impetuous.
I honestly had goosebumps.
You gotta try New York deli and Philly cheesesteak pizzas. Just $4 with any regular price pizza. New from Pizza Hut.
It practically swaggers with confidence.
Just because Steel builds some of the most dependable chainsaws in the world, a lot of people think that's all we do. But all across the country, from the firehouse to the farmhouse, from ballparks to backyards, more and more homeowners and professionals have discovered that Steel power tools stand out in any field. Visit your local Steel dealer today and find out why. You may be in for a powerful surprise. If you depend on power tools, depend on Steel.
There's lots of great reasons to get your auto parts at Giant Auto Parts. Huge selection, friendly, knowledgeable service,
Hi, may I help you?
and everyday low prices. But here's the best part. Giant has the best parts. Giant carries a full line of quality Pure Later oil and air filters for almost any car, foreign or domestic, at great everyday low prices. So get to the best part at Giant Auto Parts. There's a Giant Auto Parts near you.
We're back with the KISS FM Pizza Hut 35-lap main for the Giant Auto Parts Pure Later Late models. And as they go down the back straight, we're going to take a look at the top 3 rows.
And after qualifications, as we look at the front 3 rows, look at row 4. The two gentlemen we were talking about at the outset of the program, Charlie Cragen and Glenn Galt, running 1 and 2 in track points here and in the Northeast region of the NASCAR Winston Racing Series.
And they'll set up the stage for a lot of drama. But look at this up front. We're trying to make it 3 wide in a literal drag race into turns 1 and 2 for the lead. It's still side by side with Ken Horner on the low side. Here comes Rick Boyer, the flying coal miner, down the back straight. But Horner holds right with him as they dive into turns 3 and 4. The Hillside Automotive 16 machine continues the low side, and the Mott's Fruit Juice KFC 30 of Boyer is working the outside so close together you could hardly put your notebook in there.
If it's your notebook, Mike, not too many papers in it, would be pretty thin. Hey, the pot's beginning to boil over. Let's go to the live call.
Horner settles in second. The 36 of Tom Erickson right there knows the tail. Look at Gold crawling down to the low side, and he's able to muscle his way through. He gets past Bobby Henry. No, Henry comes right back up on him. Bobby Henry trying to make the outside work with Glenn Galt working in 4th place. Sergeant Charlie Cragen behind him. Here comes Tom Erickson to the low side of the 16 of Horner. Meanwhile, Galt goes to the high side of Erickson. An intense battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. As we work out of turn 4, it continues to be Boyer with the lead. Erickson down the low side, and Glenn Galt hooks up to the outside of Racing Service, sets his sights for the 3rd place position in turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway on lap 3, Glenn Galt breaks through for the 3rd place position. Here comes the charging one. In the Twin County Chevrolet Dealers 42, Charlie Cragen trying to muscle his way on the outside of the Racing Service up to the 4th place spot. Rick Boyer holds to the point position by the thinnest of margins over the 16 of Ken Horner early in this event. But here's the 2 drivers we've been talking about, the 32 of Glenn Galt and the 42 of Charlie Cragen. They go down into turn 3, and it's a great time to take this intense battle into the live call. Galt goes high, and Cragen goes to the low side out of turn 4. And a battle on lap 4. Charging Charlie Cragen coming to the low line. Glenn Galt trying to make the outside. Oh my goodness, what a heated battle. Down the back straightaway. It may yet work for Galt. No! Horner slams the door. Now Cragen with nowhere to get on the low side. Glenn Gauld and Charlie Cragen could reach out the window, shake hands, and do the Gettysburg address down the front straightaway. They've been running side by side so tight. We continue in turns 1 and 2. Unbelievable racing action as Boyer continues on a point position. Ken Horner down the back straight, denies Gault the opportunity.
Gault may have been denied, but he's not giving up, and neither is Chargin' Charlie Cragen. They move right back up on the back bumper of Horner in that battle for number 2. And now down the front straight, here comes the 75 of Barry Audie. He's moving into the picture. Actually, about half the field moving as a mechanical caterpillar. We're still under green from the drop of the original green flag. And headed down the back chute. Things are really, really getting hot. Let's take it right to the live call.
On the move, goes to the outside of Horner down the front straightaway, and Glenn Gault trying to move into the second place spot. He says, forget second, I want to go for the lead. He's trying the outside of Rick Boyer. Down the back straightaway, Boyer slams the door on Gault, race fans, and Ken Horner stays on the low side of Glenn Gault. It's a torrid battle for the lead position. Here comes Boyer out of turn 4. Gault works the outside of him, and Boyer denies the opportunity once again. Charlie Cragen right on the back bumper of Glenn Gault. To the low side is Ken Horner. Gault and Horner side by side, lap after lap. Now down the back straightaway. Gault with an opportunity. Boyer slams the door on him, race fans. They go into turns 3 and 4. Rick Boyer continuing to work the low line. Gault trying to grim the outside of the racing service. On the front straightaway, Boyer denies Gault the opportunity. Once again, Charlie Cragen, the 75, and look at this, Bob Sibilla coming into the picture. He goes to the low side of the 75 of Audie. Audie denies him the opportunity down the back straight. Now Horner drops off the position. Here comes Gault. He gets an early start to the outside of Boyer. They work out of turn 4. It's a drag race for the lead. Down the front straightaway, Glenn Gault on the move, race fans, and he dives into turns 1 and 2, takes the lead. Charging Charlie Cragen. He's trying to come through the floodgate on the outside. He makes the pass.
The cream rising to the top in 1992 with Glenn Gault in a point position and the 42 of Cragen behind him. Now we're going to take it to lap 12. There was a miscue. Here it is. Bob Sibilla gets into the outside retaining wall rather lightly with a 360-degree spin. He's able to leap the car into the pits, or I should say limp it into the pits. Look at that right front suspension, all torn away and the wheel assembly torn off, but he wisely takes the Martinelli service Camaro bodied 63 into the infield, and we go back to racing.
After that incident, it's back to green flag racing. We're now on lap 20, down the back chute. Watch this group of cars. Rick Boyer, Tom Erickson running. Ooh, did they get together? I don't know. Rick Boyer spins out. Tom Erickson into him. I don't know, Mike.
Yeah, that's really tough to say, Steve. It almost looked like the way both of them spun that they might have touched out there, but even looking over the video, you really can't tell. Now, the 36 Erickson, he's trying to refire the automobile, and that's fuel collected in there, and we move on to the restart. Here's the battle for the lead. We're going to take it again into another live call with Gault leading.
Begins to close in on the back bumper. Go charging Charlie Cragen, making a move out of turn 4 to the low side. Race fans down the front straightaway, and Glenn Gault denies him the opportunity. Here comes Cragen again. Cragen tries the low line. Gault up high, side by side, wheel to wheel. Cragen cannot make the low line work yet. He still tries on the low line. And Glenn Gault, a master of the middle groove here tonight, continues holding on to the lead.
Glenn Gault's strategy here, obviously, is to run that outside line, make Chargin' Charlie dive low, again in 1 and 2, and use up his tires. And Charlie just doesn't have the torque when he come out of the turn. Glenn Gault has the RPMs up, and he's able to hold on to that point position. We move ahead. It's the final lap. It's the same story. Glenn Gault in front, Charlie Cragen right behind, running the low line, Gault the high line. But for Charlie Cragen, he's running out of time and real estate. It's the Orange Blossom Special of Hubbard, Ohio's Glenn Gault down the front straight for his 3rd consecutive victory at Jennerstown.
It's the man they called a double G in Victory Lane in this KISS FM Pizza Hut 35-lap main for the John Auto Parts Pure Later late models. There's a look at the top 5. And, Steve, we're going to take time out and go to a race break about our NASCAR Winston All-Pro 300 that's being run next Sunday. It won't be on Chase to the Checkered, but a lot of the competitors that run in a weekly Winston racing series will make a few changes and compete in that event, and that's what this subject's about.
This race break is brought to you by Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
On Sunday, July 19th, drivers of our Giant Auto Parts Pure Later late model division will get a chance to pull some double duty here at Jennerstown. First of all, on Saturday, July 18th at 6 p.m., they'll be running in our normal Winston Racing Series late model division action that we show you every week here on Chase to the Checkered. But then again, on Sunday the 19th at 6 p.m., they'll have a chance to run in the first ever Winston All-Pro 300 here at Jennerstown. The Winston All-Pro Series is NASCAR's premier asphalt late model short track circuit, and the cars vary very little from our own weekly late models. One of the drivers who will be looking forward to the challenge of a longer distance event is 20-year-old Ken Imler Jr. from East Freedom, Pennsylvania. As the youngest driver in the late model division here at Jennerstown, he's visited victory lane already with the Haas's Steak and Seat House Ford Thunderbird, and he's now ready to challenge the more experienced pavement veterans at their own game. Because of a similarity in rules to Winston All-Pro machines, very little adjusting will be needed to produce the first ever asphalt late model north-south shootout here in western Pennsylvania. For Imler's team, the basic changes are as follows. A switch to a steel drive shaft from the lightweight metal alloy ones normally used in weekly competition. Permission in using a larger 600 CFM carburetor in place of the smaller weekly carburetor, a change that's allotted for Ford-powered engines in all-pro competition. And finally, the installation of a dry brake system and refilling the fuel cell during pit stops to prevent gas spillage. Such a system is not required here at weekly racing. And there you have it. With changes similar to this, any regular at Jennerstown can take on the Winston All-Pro stars. Oh yeah, and for Ken Imler Jr., one very important factor is sponsorship. From all of his friends at Biondi Lincoln Mercury out of Monroeville, Pennsylvania, Meyerly Lincoln Mercury in Altoona, Pennsylvania, Metzler Auto Parts, and Hollidaysburg Auto Parts. It's because of people like this that young Ken will have the opportunity to test his skills against the best in the NASCAR Winston All-Pro 300 on Sunday, July 19th, right here at Jennerstown.
This race break has been brought to you by Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
Pizza Hut introduces New York deli and Philly cheesesteak pizzas. What do the experts say?
The potpourri of deli taste is quite assertive.
A tour de force of beef and cheese.
A smorgasbord of innuendo. There's an undercurrent of whimsy here. Goosebumps.
Impetuous.
I honestly had goosebumps.
You gotta try New York deli and Philly cheesesteak pizzas. Just $4 with any regular price pizza. New from Pizza Hut.
It practically swaggers with confidence.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. The surefire performance of AC Delco. We don't just race, we win.
We're back with the AC Delco Pro Stocks in their Kiss FM Pizza Hut 25-lap main, and there's a look at how they line up.
Boy, there must be magic in row 4 this week. Look who's back there. We have Dunmeyer and Brad Smales duking it out for feature wins here at Jennerstown. This could be an interesting race, Mike.
They're also right up there in the top 5 in the track points. As the field comes out of turn 4, we get the green from starter Ron Brutt, and look at the young one out there, Dave Haupt, trying to make it 3 wide. But up high, it's the 77 of Kelly Shallis and the Johnson Auto Parts machine, and he moves right into the lead over the 97 of Tony Hirsch.
We've seen Kelly Shallis in the lead last several weeks here at Jennerstown. We'll have to see if he can maintain that position. Tony Hirsch sort of running interference for him as Bob Arsenberger and Ron Delano Jr. kind of trying to come up on this back bumper and make the move. Arsenberger running low down the front chute makes the move. Now he can set his sights up on Shallis running at the point position.
And right behind them, Steve, is the Nepper Performance 62 of Ron Delano Jr. He's diving to the low side of Tony Hirsch's automobile. Hey, you know, Tony Hirsch's car is a Dillon chassis car. It used to belong to Danny White when he campaigned it in the late models. Before that, he bought it off of Mark Martin. Martin drove it in ASA racing in 1986, and Bobby Allison drove it as well. So an incredible history of that car. But we had an early race miscue with the 15 of Kerry Tadera that brought out a minor incident for the yellow, and we'll go right back to the restart. Kelly Shallis on the point. Here comes Bob Arsenberg.
Mike, not only is he coming, he's going. He's going to put the move on the low side of Kelly Shallis, headed into turns 1 and 2. And here comes Ron Delano Jr. trying to follow suit, but Kelly Shallis manages to hold him off. Our new leader, Rapid Robert Arsenberger. We had another incident on lap 12. It's Dave Haupt with a spin out, touching the wall briefly, and what that will do is bring out a restart.
You've heard of Ford Chevy battles before, Steve, but I think with Arsenberger's fans, it might be schizomania because that's a Ford Thunderbird bodied automobile, but I believe they have a Chevy racing engine under the hood. Here we go, into turns 1 and 2. We go to the call. Into turns 1 and 2. Brad Cole goes to the low side. Oh, look out! And contact out there, and Cole muscles his way to the low side of Delano, breaks through for the second place position.
And now that Cole has left Delano in his dust, Mike, he'll set his sights on Rapid Robert Arsenberger. But he's running out of time. It's the last lap. It's taken him this long to actually catch up. He tries to put a move on the low side. On the high side, Arsenberger pulls away.
It's not quite over. With less than a half a lap remaining, here comes King Cole again. He closes up to the back bumper, but Bob Arsenberger, coming up on the lap traffic of Tim Johnson, is able to find the line and capture the checkered.
Finding victory lane for the first time in '92, it's Rapid Robert Arsenberger on the KISS FM Pizza Hut night here at Jennerstown Speedway, and there's a look at our top 5 finishers.
Brad Smales, used to being up in the top 3 positions, only able to muster a top 5. Stay with us, race fans. Plenty of action left after this.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. The surefire performance of AC Delco. We don't just race, we win.
This weekend, it's the most intriguing asphalt late model race of the year at Jennerstown Speedway with the first annual NASCAR Winston All-Pro 300 North-South Shootout. See some of your favorite tri-state area drivers take on the stars and cars of the NASCAR Winston All-Pro Series in 300 laps of fender grinding excitement. On Saturday, gates open at 4, racing at 7 p.m. with a complete weekly 4-division show, plus the All-Pro 300 qualifying. Then on Sunday, it's the Winston All-Pro 300 at 6 p.m. Be part of the happening with the NASCAR Winston All-Pro 300 North-South Shootout this weekend at Jennerstown Speedway.
Al Unser Jr. knows the corkscrew at Laguna Seca with his eyes closed. Fortunate, considering it's a blind turn. Mark Martin knows if he lets someone cross his wake at 200 miles per hour, his car may be doing the lambada. And Joe Amato knows that at 296 miles per hour, he must pull his chute at precisely the right moment to keep from becoming an astronaut. Apparently, it is what you know.
Back with the Valvoline Street Stocks in their KISS FM Pizza Hut 20-lap main. Steve, before we get into this, Chase the Checkered on a rather somber note here because of such a serious situation that happened in this division earlier in the evening in a qualifying heat race, and it involved Larry Saylor. We're going to go to this footage. Here we go. It's Alan Angelico leading with Ron Coral, I believe, behind him. Now, this battle for third, actually with Mike Hemmer low side. Now, the yellow and white 88 is Saylor. He and Boyd Wingert in a 49 get together in a racing incident, and then Saylor becomes airborne, and the pictures tell it all.
Within a matter of minutes following this incident, Larry Saylor was airlifted to a Johnstown hospital and unbelievably suffered only a badly broken arm. A lot of friends and family have been asking about Larry. We want to let him know that we're all thinking about him. We hope to see him back real soon.
Moving on, we're back to the start of this feature event, and there's the top 3 rows. It's Alan Angelico on the point with Mark Berkey. They come under starter Ron Brutt's green flag, and we are racing.
But this was not to be the night for the street stocks that were accident-free. Another incident on the start. The number 10 car, Bill Schneider, incidental contact, hits the outside retaining wall and ejects the fuel cell. It rolls out in the middle of the racing surface. Fortunately, no fire as other cars get around it.
We'll take another look here from the turn 1 camera at this shot. Bill was not injured in this incident. He walked away as we go back to the restart.
And as on the original start of this race, double file, on the green flag, it's Alan Angelico and Mark Berkey headed into 1 and 2, and it's the wild man coming out on top, assuming the point position. Berkey second, Dave Wilt third, John Komarinsky running fourth, single file down the back straight.
Angelico is a graduate from our Steel Pure Stock division in his rookie season. Behind him, Mark Berkey's had a couple seasons on the pavement in the Valvoline Street Stocks. Here comes the 33 of John Komarinsky. He works to the low side as the Rose number 75 of Brian Otte works to the outside of him. Dave Wilt, meanwhile, in Haas Steak and Seahawks Ziegler Chevrolet number 3 gets by for second.
But it's still the wild man, Alan Angelico, on the point position. Most of the pressure coming from Dave Wilt, but there's a slew of cars as they head into the turns. Look at this, Mike, running side by side, bumper to bumper, and here comes Dave Wilt making pressure on the low side on Angelico, headed into 1 and 2, but Alan Angelico slams the door on him as they head down the back straight.
It's on to lap 6. Still the battle for the lead, but this time Angelico has taken the outdoor specialties, Tasco 55 machine to the low side, and it forces the 3 of Dave Wilt to the outside line. Wilt, he's run with us before in the pavement many years ago, did a lot of dirt racing in between, but now back in the pavement of Valvoline Street Stocks, he's looking good as we struggle for this battle going down the back straight into the call.
Drag race as they head into turn 3 and 4. Dave Wilt trying to make the car stick. The Wild Man saying, no, 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 I want to stay in the lead. Out of the turn 4 down the front straight. And we've got 5 automobiles hooked up in a battle for the lead. Angelique on the low side. Wilt breaks through for the point position. Here comes Brian Audie. Audie trying to do the same down the back straightaway. Mike Heminger continues locked to the low side as he works the 4th place position struggle. Oh, look at this. Look out. Audie gets crossed up with a 55 of Angelique.
And that little miscue allows Dave Wilt to extend his lead while the rest of the pack reshuffles itself. Let's move ahead. Lap 18. Still Dave Wilt in the lead, but now it's Mike Heminger, the number 72, applying the pressure. Just behind him is Ron Coral. Where did he come from? Nowhere, Mike.
I can play Sherlock Holmes this week and tell you how it happened. Ron Coral moved up through the field, sometimes 3 wide, like a sprint car way up on the cushion, so to speak. Down the back straight, 3 cars battle. It's a chase to the checkered, and we take it to the call.
Now Ron Coral hooked up and flying. He goes to the outside. Race fans, it's 3 cars strong. The white flag, 1 lap remaining out of turn 4. Heminger gets crossed up, and Ron Coral makes the mid. He goes into turns 1 and 2. To the outside of Dave Wilt goes Ron Coral. Wilt trying for a career first win. Lap traffic in the way. Lap traffic in the way. Here comes Coral. Side by side, wheel to wheel, through turns 3 and 4. Here we come. Look out. Out of 4. It's going to be a battle for the lead in it. Oh, Ron Coral.
You think the race is over? Well, watch this. Not quite. Here comes Bob Raley as he crosses the finish line, blows an oil line, has a fire. Fortunately, no injury for Bob. Just a fitting end to this street stock feature.
1992, the season of victories for Ron Coral. His 4th career win this season and 2nd at Jennerstown. A look at the top 5. These drivers in the Valvoline Street Stock burning up the asphalt figuratively and literally this evening.
Ron Coral in victory lane says, yep, I'm number 1 tonight. Time to move on now for more racing excitement. It's the Kiss FM Pizza Hut presentation of the Steel Pure Stocks. And here's a look at the front 3 rows.
15 laps the distance of this event, and Robin Rimmel will lead him around. And on the outside of him is Brian Thomas from nearby Holsapple, Pennsylvania.
And as starter Ron Brutt prepares to drop the green flag, yeah, a little indecision. Yeah, it's Robin Rimmel on the point as he outruns Brian Thomas down the front straight. Robin Rimmel running pretty well here the last few weeks.
Not so fast, Steve. Brian Thomas is still holding on to the outside. Now Rimmel finally breaks through and finds opening between his back bumper and the front grille work of the 27.
But the 2 front runners better look out because here comes the Terminator, Chris Kokenauer, in the powder blue number 18. Brand new car this week, and he's applying some pressure. As a matter of fact, the rest of the field is applying some pressure on Kokenauer.
And included in that is Tim Stump, 65, the 75 of James Friedland, at 28 of Shauna Bullet Beam. Holy smokes, I'm running out of time on this, Steve. There's the 71 of Mark Griffith in there. He dives to the low side of the Baron Trucking, 28 of Beam's automobile, and they go flying down the back straight, trying to make it 4 wide.
I never knew you could have that much fun on treaded street tires out here, especially since I rode with you in a race break one week. I know these guys were having a lot more fun than I did with you.
All right, Cabbage Head, you've been getting on my race break every week. I'll tell you what, there's only going to be one way we're going to fix this. We're going to have to go matching like 2 nights in cars on a race break some night. Now, anyway, we continue with the racing down the back straightaway. Look at this. 3 wide. It's a sandwich job, as we call it on race night. There's the flying sign painter, Dave Brunell, in the 1 trying to get through as well. With 28 of Beam continues to work the outside of the racing surface.
Sean Beam making it work high and handsome as he works on Jimmy Friedline, just behind Chris Kokenauer, but it's still Robin Rimmel on the point, headed down into the turns, and Friedline starts to wash out a bit. That gives Sean Beam the opening, and now he sets his sights on the Terminator just in front of him.
The shuffling of positions continue, and now we move on to lap 5. It's still a battle for the top 10 positions. Sean Beam trying to work over that 18 of Chris Kokenauer, not able to accomplish a pass for 3rd place position. Now he dives down low, and we'll take it in to the live call.
The Bullet lurks the low side of Kokenauer. Down the back straightaway, a battle for 3rd. Here comes Beam, the Somerset, Pennsylvania driver, trying to wrestle away 3rd from Kokenauer. Kokenauer hanging on for a slide for life out of turn 4, but Beam breaks through for the 3rd place spot.
And now Beam can set his sights ahead for our front runners. We're going to move ahead in the event. It's now the midway point, and it's the battle for 2nd place. Let's take it right to the live call.
Still Beam up in the loose marbles. Thomas gets crossed up, and now Beam, oh, look at this down the back straight, leaning on each other.
Boy, those guys could be sponsored by logging companies with as much seesawing of the wheels they were doing. Now we're going to take this to the last lap, and it's a triple L. Lucky Lee Larry Hemminger's closed up on Beam's 28 as we work out of turns 3 and 4. Beam and the Baron Trucking 28 machine out of turn 4 will hang on to it and take the win over the Banjo Matthews of Somerset County, Larry Hemminger.
Sean Beam again finds victory lane in 92 at Jennerstown. And here's a look at our top 5. Number 2, finisher Larry Lee Heminger. The L's are interchangeable, and we call him the Banjo Matthews of Somerset County because of all of the race cars he's built. And here's a look at Sean Beam again in victory lane. We'll be back with a final word after this.
Just because steel builds some of the most dependable chainsaws in the world, a lot of people think that's all we do. But all across the country, from the firehouse to the farmhouse, from ballparks to backyards, more and more homeowners and professionals have discovered that steel power tools stand out in any field. Visit your local steel dealer today and find out why. You may be in for a powerful surprise. If you depend on power tools, depend on steel.
This weekend, it's the most intriguing asphalt late model race of the year at Jennerstown Speedway with the first annual NASCAR Winston All-Pro 300 North-South Shootout. See some of your favorite tri-state area drivers take on the stars and cars of the NASCAR Winston All-Pro Series in 300 laps of fender grinding excitement. On Saturday, gates open at 4, racing at 7 p.m. with a complete weekly 4-division show, plus the All-Pro 300 qualifying. Then on Sunday, it's the Winston All-Pro 300 at 6 p.m. Be part of the happening with the NASCAR Winston All-Pro 300 North-South Shootout this weekend at Jennerstown Speedway.
There's lots of great reasons to get your auto parts at Giant Auto Parts. Huge selection, friendly, knowledgeable service.
Hi, may I help you?
And everyday low prices. But here's the best part. Giant has the best parts. Giant carries a full line of quality Purolator oil and air filters for almost any car, foreign or domestic, at great everyday low prices. So get to the best part at Giant Auto Parts. There's a Giant Auto Parts near you. That concludes racing for this week. Don't forget to obtain your Jennerstown Speedway reserve seat $2 discount coupons that are redeemable at all race events up to September 19th at participating Giant Auto Parts stores. Your place for the best parts, where you find Purolator products, the first name in oil filters. You'll also find them at participating Keystone Steel dealers. Steel, the world's largest chainsaw manufacturer. And at participating Western Pennsylvania Auto Parts stores, where you find quality AC Delco parts. AC Delco powers the winners. Also at participating Western Pennsylvania Pizza Hut locations. Hit the Hut for our new New York Deli and Philly cheesesteak pizzas. And finally at participating Valvoline Instant Oil Changes, Napa Auto Parts stores, and Western Pennsylvania Auto Parts stores, where you find Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. On July 18th and 19th, Jennerstown Speedway will present the first annual NASCAR Winston All-Pro 300. Prior to that event, you can visit our race display Thursday, July 16th at the Century 3 Mall on Route 51 south of Pittsburgh and register to win tickets and prizes for this prestigious event. From all of us at Jennerstown Speedway, this is Mike Nelson along with Steve Richard wishing you a great weekend. We'll see you at the races. Chase to the Checkered, featuring the NASCAR Winston Racing Series from Jennerstown Speedway, has been brought to you by Pizza Hut. Hit the Hut for our new New York Deli and Philly cheesesteak pizzas. And welcome to this week's program. Mike Nelson along with Steve Richard to bring you all the action of the AC Delco presentation of our NASCAR